Before time took shape, before the sky had breath and the earth had form, there was only the sea, endless, untamed, and ancient beyond measure. It swayed in the darkness, not yet knowing the weight of wind, not yet kissed by the light of stars. It churned and whispered to itself, shaping the world in slow, patient waves, waiting for something, someone, to awaken within it. Before the first mountain rose, before rivers carved their paths and the sun knew where to rest, there was Mother Ocean. She was the first and the last, the great keeper of time, whose waves carried the whispers of the world. Her waters stretched beyond sight, a vast and living tapestry woven with currents, tides, and storms. She cradled the earth in her embrace, shaping it with every rise and fall of her waves. Where her hands lingered, valleys deepened, trenches unfurled, and islands rose like forgotten memories. She sculpted the land in silence, forging its shape in the language of water. But she was not yet content, for the world was still quiet, and so she dreamed of life. From the shimmering foam of her waves, she called forth the first of her children, jellyfish, delicate and weightless as the wind. They pulsed like the breath of the deep, their transparent bodies glowing with the colors of dawn, drifting wherever the currents willed. They were the first to know her touch, the first to dance upon her tides, silent poets of the sea. But she longed for voices, for songs that could shake the silence of eternity. So she sculpted the whales, great and mighty, shaped from earth and tide, bone and song. She filled their bellies with breath and set them loose upon her waters, their voices rising in deep, mournful hymns that echoed across the vast blue. They became her guardians, her messengers, carrying the memory of the ocean in their songs. Still, she desired motion, speed, and hunger. From the shadows, she wove the sharks, sleek as flowing water, their eyes black as the midnight sea. She made them swift, relentless, the perfect balance of life and death, so that her waters would never grow still. And yet, Mother Ocean did not want only hunters. She wished for wanderers, creatures who would know her currents and ride them to distant shores. From sunlight's silver shimmer, she shaped the salmon and the tuna. The salmon she made strong, so they would battle the fiercest rivers and always find their way home. The tuna she made swift, so they would roam the endless blue, tireless and free, never fearing the vastness of her embrace. She sculpted the octopus from ink and mystery, giving them minds as deep as her trenches and arms to shape, to explore, to learn. They would be her tricksters, her hidden ones, the keepers of secrets. She let loose the tiny fish, those that dart like sunbeams through coral forests, those that shimmer like liquid silver in the vast open sea. She scattered them like stardust, filling every hidden cave and towering reef. And still, she was not done. She called forth the seals, playful and swift, creatures that would leap between her worlds, dancing at the boundary of land and sea. She shaped the sea turtles, slow and wise, their shells carved from time itself, so they would carry the echoes of the past on their backs. She whispered to the herring and the mackerel, the countless tiny ones who would fuel the great cycle, and they filled her waters like a living tide. Then she turned to her deepest places, where even light dared not tread. She breathed life into creatures of the abyss, fish with fangs like needles, eyes that glowed like embers, bodies adorned with lanterns and lures. These she made not from sunlight, but from secrets, from silence, from the ocean's own whispered stories. And still, Mother Ocean knew that for life to flourish, there must also be an end. She shaped the storms, the great churning tempests, that would sweep away the careless and test the strong. She wove the tides so that nothing would remain still, so that all who dwelled within her knew the rhythm of rise and fall, of give and take. She was not only a mother of life, she was a force, both gentle and unforgiving. She whispered lullabies to sailors in the form of gentle swells, but roared in fury when the world forgot to respect her. When the winds howled and her anger stirred, she reminded those above that she could take back as easily as she had given. Time moved and the land changed. Strange creatures crawled from her waters, walking on legs instead of fins. They built cities, towers reaching for the sky, but in their ambition, they forgot her voice. They took from her without thanks, scarred her with their greed, and poured poison into her veins. But not all forgot. Some still listened. They saw the forest dying, the rivers thinning, the shores shrinking beneath the rising tides. They heard the whale's songs growing lonelier, the fish growing scarcer, the coral fading from vibrant hues to ghostly white, and they remembered. They stood at the water's edge, hands in the waves, whispering apologies carried away by the tide. They rebuilt what they had broken, letting the rivers flow free, planting life where it had been lost. They carried her message in stories, in songs, in the way they touched the sea with reverence instead of greed. And Mother Ocean listened. She felt their hands restoring the reefs, their voices crying for her creatures, their hearts beating once more in rhythm with the tide. She heard their songs echo in the wind, their love and the laughter of children who still ran barefoot into the waves, arms outstretched as if to embrace her. The storms calmed, the waters cleared, life bloomed once more, and she knew. The ones who had forgotten were learning again. The ones who had silenced her voice were beginning to sing with her once more. For Mother Ocean is eternal. She is the first and the last, the breath and the tide. And though her fury is great, her mercy is greater still. For those who listen, for those who care, for those who love her waters as she loves them, she will always welcome them home, and through them she will live forever.